I just have a account that doesn't have my name where I just engage is all that I'm saying. And I can lurk.
I will not out you or anything, but just wondering, did you make a private list in preparation for this film?
Yeah, I did. It had a ton of Takashi Miike's films on there. I love like Audition was a big inspiration on Opus. Huge, huge inspiration on Opus. The body horror and the pacing are two of the things that are like probably the biggest nods to him in Japanese horror films, where, a lot of them you really get to live in the character. And I think Io is so special. This is Ariel's movie. I wanted the first act to be about her, how she feels, how she sees the world. And it's one of the things I'm the most proud of is the way this film begins. And that is direct influence from him in Audition and in some of his great films.
ありがとうございます。
Phantom of the Paradise, the Brian De Palma film, which I love and I think is the best musical ever made, which I understand is a hot take. But one, it seems like maybe an outlier in De Palma's, in the De Palma canon, and I love him as a filmmaker. It's so poppy while also being dark. There are a handful of scenes where you just are like, fuck, like they'll occupy your brain at random inappropriate times. Also thought all of I'm sure there's a name for this, but things that shouldn't be beautiful that are beautiful, like all of the music equipment with the plugs and just the way that the production designer really made that feel so cinematic. Paul Williams did such a great job with the music. I mean, I could talk about the movie forever. It just, to me, is such a feat and so weird, deeply weird. And the teeth I thought were crazy. Like, I would love to know, did they do a mold and give him like a grill, like a super early grill? You know what I mean? I have questions. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
If anybody could get Brian De Palma on the phone, it'd be y'all.
John Malkovich's role, he's a little bit Phantom of the Paradisey in the sense that, he's this kind of larger than life figure. And you've said that
Yeah.
you wanted him from the start, you had him in mind. So I was wondering which of his films made you want him for this, for Opus?
Oh man, great question. Obviously, Dangerous Liaisons. Burn After Reading.
He's underrated in that one. I feel
Very
like
underrated John Malkovich performance. Burn After Reading. Mia, you really know ball, and I'm into it.
Thank you.
Obviously, being John Malkovich, it was so fun going through and watching movies of his that I had missed. There's a film where he plays a con artist, but he plays a con artist that's based on a real person, and the guy is he just kind of doesn't have a redeemable quality in him, which I think is hard for John because John, like, it's such a departure because I find him to be so lovable. And then Rounders. I don't know that you can talk about the Malkovich canon and not talk about Teddy KGB.
Mr. Son of a Beach, let's play some cards.
we've talked about the films on your private list, but I was wondering if you and Io talked about any movies while you were preparing to make this film.
Yeah, we talked about some of those, Phantom of the Paradise. I mean, Io will, the world knows how I feel about Io. If you watch the film, you also can tell that I adore her and believe in her. She is a director and she is such a strong, like, powerful performer and a cinephile. We talked about Silence of the Lambs a lot, but I feel like that was really more so me. And there's certain things in Silence of the Lambs that I thought were great, and then there were things where I really wanted Ariel's character to be like a black woman that was smart and flawed, but not like a dummy.
Yeah, and you mentioned she's playing a journalist. Ariel's a journalist, and I, as a journalist myself, I love journalism movies. And since you also journalist, style columnist for GQ,
Yeah.
So I was wondering about your favorite journalism movies.
The two goats have to be All the President's Men, and I would put Zodiac as a tie for the top. I'm sure there's something that is like we're missing, but I don't think nothing's gonna beat Zodiac for me because David Fincher is my North Star.